a young lady who has given service to this country, a young lady who has given service to her constituency, a young lady who intends to continue in service to Barbados, Mia Amor Motley.
Let me go again. Wave your right. Mia for you. Wave your right. Mia for me. Wave your right. Put it two over your head. If you know that we is we. Wave your right. Mia for you. Wave your right. Mia for me. Wave your right. Put it two over your head.
Yeah, God, listen good because I have no voice. And I have to go and speak in Bushall for Arthur Holder. So you know that if I come here tonight like this, it could only be because I want at all costs for you to know that I want Maria Agard in the House of Assembly. I am speaking, some words come out and some are not. But the important words are that Maria Agard is easily, without fear of contradiction, the most organized, the most efficient candidate I have ever seen in 20 years of Barbadian politics. And I say so without fear of contradiction. I thought I was good until I met Maria and Roosevelt. And God bless Roosevelt's spirit tonight as we meet in this meeting. And if she approaches representation, like how she has approached the organization of this campaign, like how she has approached her dental practice, like how she approaches her work with the Catholic Church, then I say to you that if you thought Henry Ford was good, if you thought William Duguid was good, you are going to find in Maria Agard a partner who not only has vision, not only has the ability to speak for you in Parliament, not only is capable of hard work, but most important of all, that she has heart and cares about people. So when I had a toothache, I didn't know Maria well. I had a children's party in Bushall 4 or 5 years ago. And when it finished, at 9:30, I could not move left, right, forward, backward. Didn't know Maria's home number. Got it. Called her at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. And she left her house and came and dealt with an abscess and an extraction. She could have given me a painkiller and tell me come back Monday morning. She didn't do that. But for those who want to say that she did it for me alone, I have a constituent, one of my chief canvassers, and last year he was walking about, can't get rid of this pain, and again at short notice asked Maria, and she was there for him. So ladies and gentlemen, I would love to make a lot of noise, but I have come here to give you a lot of heart for a woman who has a lot of heart, and a woman who I hope that even after I leave public life, because I have had 20 years, that she too will be able to give 20 plus more to the people of Christchurch West. but not just give you, to set a standard for representation in public life in Barbados that I know will come to be the hallmark of representation. Maria Agard, I want you to come up on stage so at least I can hug you, since I can't talk for you like how I want to talk for you. I want you to move to the stage and make your people bring you. And I want little music, fellas, because I can dance, but I can't talk.
A vote for me is a vote for your future, and a vote for your children's future.
We fed up, we fixed education in a mess. You hear that? We done with them. Enough of them. More push up, face bend. More workers gone home again. You see me now? We done with them. Enough of them. Cause these small man getting squeezed. Because of them. Vendors got the lead. Because of them. Tourists getting scared. Because of them. Knock bills in the rear. We want Barbados Labour Party come back and save way. We had enough of them.
This is Maria Agard. A vote for Maria Agard is a vote for a better tomorrow.
And a vote for yourself. Good night. God bless. And to the next representative with your blessing and your vote, Maria Agard.
We voted for the right. Fast open your eyes and hold out your head. Right now things dread. We voted for the right. Right now things dread. We voted for the right. Right now things dread. We voted for the right. Things ain't hard. Hurt in my head. We need a change.
Barbados don't take it no more.
We need a change.
Say God get move for the poor.
We need a change.
The youth's gonna settle the score. We ain't standing for them
This
no more.
is Maria Agard. Christchurch West needs jobs, especially for women and young people.
We fed up, we fixed education in a mess. You hear that? We done with them. Enough of them. More push up, face bend. More workers gone home again. You see me now? We done with them. Enough of them. Cause these small man getting squeezed.
A very good night to my friends and my family. We in Christchurch West, we know how to have a good time. And I certainly want to thank my supporters tonight. You see that we have a lot of young women on this campaign. We have a lot of young women on this campaign. But let me start by saying that there is room in this constituency for only one woman. Her name is Maria Agard. Only one woman, Maria Agard. Now, let me start by saying, I know this may be a national campaign, but I want you to know that you are on my home ground. This is my home. Hearts Gap, St. Matthias, September Square, Darrell's Road. This is where I grew up. This is where I ran about, made friends with people in this district. So tonight, I welcome you to my home. Welcome, Barbados. And you know that you have got to give me a moment to speak to my hometown. I am humbled to be here tonight. There are a lot of people in this constituency and in this district who have given me such encouragement. People who grew up with me. And I am thankful and grateful for the telephone calls, the text messages, the hugs, the touches, for all the words of encouragement. And people say, but Maria, when you were growing up, you were the last person that we thought would go into politics. You were so shy. But one follows one's callings. And I may still be shy, but I have a voice. And I am here for those whose voices may not be as loud as mine. That is why I am here. You saw me being accompanied by my niece, Victoria. She celebrates her birthday today, and she is 8 years old. I come to politics for little girls like Victoria and all the young people who bear in their hearts the hope of a better tomorrow. And I say to you that I offer myself in service to ensure that Victoria and all little girls and boys like her grow up in a Barbados that is for them a better tomorrow, where they can realize their dreams, where they can live in a society that is just and fair, where they can work by the skills of their hands and their abilities, and that they will be treated justly. I come to service for little girls like Victoria. Now, I have had a relationship in this constituency for the past 2.5 years, a very special one. Not the personal one where I'm up and down the street, but a political one. And today I am going to spend a few moments giving a report of my stewardship to this constituency over the past 2.5 years. And this is not going to be a report like the one that you had on Bay Street last week. On the other side, where all they did was to spend time cursing people and making trite remarks. I am going to share with you tonight what I have been able to achieve with you and on your behalf for the past 2.5 years. I want to thank all of the young people in this community who afforded me an opportunity to partner with them as they built out their sporting activities. For those of you who do not know Hearts Gap, we were a basketball community for several years, and a proud basketball community at that. There was Springfield, there was Senators, and there was Warriors. But of late, we know that we have seen the emergence of other sporting activities. So that in addition to basketball clinics that were held by Mally Stanton, for example, we have seen the emergence of football in Christchurch West and cricket. And I want to thank the youth of these districts for allowing me to partner with them and to support them in their ventures. And certainly we had a wonderful closure to a cricket match last week. I thank the young men. I also want to say to you that we made environmental issues our special concern as well. For those of you who live especially in 2nd Avenue, Hearts Gap, and September Square, you know that we have struggled with a perennial flooding problem. If we barely get a drizzle in Hearts Gap, 2nd Avenue flood out. September Square is flooded. You can't pass Miss Watt's house. You can't get past Victor Vaughn's house. And I am happy to say that we were able to have a town hall meeting where all of the experiences of people who lived in this area for years were brought to bear on a project where the seniors of the district were able to identify for us the locations of the wells. And with the intervention of the supervisor of wells in the drainage unit, we were able to have the wells cleared. I know that the flooding problem is still an issue, but I am happy today to say that much of the severe flooding has now been alleviated. And I want to offer a very special thank you to people like Cecilia Johnson, who was able to identify those wells so that we could have them cleaned and we could provide a better environment for the members and the residents of September Square and 2nd Avenue, Hearts Gap. I also want to say that we have periodically been cleaning the marine gardens, debushing that area so that young people could have their tournaments and their community days on the marine gardens. And I am proud that we were able to do that. I say these things to indicate to you that my relationship with Christchurch West will not start today, or it will not start next week, Thursday, when I intend to prevail at the polls. My relationship of service with you has been an ongoing relationship. I am not like those who needed a roadmap to come to Christchurch West to say that they have done anything in this constituency. I know Christchurch West. And I want to say to you that you should not allow anyone to come into this constituency and make you believe that you are a forgotten people, because you are not. You are not. And even as we were able to achieve certain objectives, I already know what I would like to do to further enhance Christchurch West and our people. And I take a moment to share with you my dreams. My friends, on Monday, I had the pleasure of celebrating with Alma Ray. And I know that you all know Miss Ray. She celebrated 102 years of life on this earth. A wonderful lady. Wonderful. But I know that in Christchurch West, we are an aging constituency. We live well here and we live long. But we must spare a moment for the elderly, like Mrs. Ray and Miss Thomas from Rockley, who is 103. And I want to say to you that as we acknowledge our aging population, Christchurch West does not have a senior citizens village. And it is my desire that under the care of the elderly program, that we can identify a location where our seniors can live out their last days in dignity, in security, and in comfort. And I believe that that will be my priority as the representative of Christchurch West. I want to see that senior citizens village in Christchurch West. I also have a tremendous love for young people. And I know that from the time I was young in this district, we have been asking for a resource center. We have a lot of talent here, and we must have a location where we can concentrate our talents and we can educate our young people. As I walk through the districts, so many of them identify for me the abandoned buildings by the Marine Gardens. And it is going to be my vested interest to ensure that we work on acquiring those buildings so that we can have our resource center to serve the districts of Hearts Gap, September Square, Darrells Road, and St. Matthias. I also want to say to you that as I grew up in this district, I used to be so proud to live in Hearts Gap. Our properties were well kept. They were well kept. But now I share your concerns that we have fallen away. We have unfortunately fallen away from the deportment that we once manifested. There are a number of abandoned buildings in the district. There are a number of derelict properties. And I know that you have constantly said to me, Maria, we have to do something about them. We have got to do something about the abandoned lots in these areas. And I want to say to you that the environment in Hearts Gap and in St. Matthias will also be my concern, because we cannot afford to have what I consider to be a public health risk with our derelict buildings. So we are going to do a beautification of these communities. We are going to clean up these districts. We are going to get rid of the derelict properties. We are going to clean the abandoned buildings so that the pride and the dignity and the sense of community that we once all shared can be brought back to Hearts Gap. And I also want to say, finally, with respect to my plans, I believe that we need to have our own playing field. It has been too long that we have not had our own playing field. And I think that we have a lot of young people in this community, and we must identify a location, even if it is rendezvous, but we must have our own dedicated playing field where our young people can build out their abilities. There is a lot of entrepreneurship in sports. There is discipline in sports. There is opportunity in sports. And I will ensure that the youth of Christchurch West will not be left abandoned where sport is concerned. Now, we also had a program. It was called YPET, Young People Employment Program. We actually shared it with a ministry, and they liked it so much that they have taken the template and they have already made it their own. We're going to continue to work on that program to ensure employment and the acquisition of skills and opportunities for apprenticeship is made available to young people. These are just some of the plans that I have for Christchurch West. And as I meet you on the streets and in spot meetings and so forth, I will continue to reveal to you my plans for Christchurch West. But I want to spend some time now dealing with a couple of national issues. And I want to say to you, the supporters of the Barbados Labour Party, that the main hurdle that we must overcome in reaching our goal on election day is to push back and debunk the lies that have been told by the Democratic Labour Party on the BLP. Now, I have counted no less than 18 political myths that the Democratic Labour Party have offered Barbados as an excuse for their inefficiency. And they have some people repeating ad nauseum things that are not borne out by facts. And I believe that our biggest fight in this political campaign is to fight the lies with facts. And so today, as long as time permits me, I am going to deal with some of the lies of the Democratic Labour Party because I want to bring you the information that will allow you to defend the Barbados Labour Party and our policies and our legacy. Now, the first lie, the first political myth of the Democratic Labour Party is that Barbados is more than an economy. It is a society. It is a wonderful slogan. I give them that. But as far as the facts go, it is a slogan that helps no one. I am here to say that an economy and a society go hand in hand, like teeth and tongue, like hand and glove, like the very air that you breathe. You cannot separate your society from your economy. In fact, it is a sound economy and one that is prudently managed that will support the plans you have for your society. And in the absence of a well-managed economy, as we have seen, the society suffers. Do you believe that when Frandel Stewart says that his report is a good one and that he is building a society that he can look in the eyes of the 16,000 mothers and fathers who he sent home? He cannot. They are part of our society too. But it is not a good society for them because they cannot feed their families. They cannot meet their daily obligations. What society are we building when we do not secure all of our jobs, both public and private? We have failed them. How can Frondell Stewart look pensioners in the eye when even as his policies led to an increase in cost of living, he took pensions from the hands of old people who have no further capacity to generate any sort of income? And you do that in the face of a drug policy that saw drugs being taken off of a formulary and where people had to buy life-saving medication out of meager earnings. How will he go to the homes of senior citizens who now have to pay for drugs or line up painfully in a cramped polyclinic for several hours just to get life-saving drugs? Tell me what society he is building for people who have to suffer through that experience. That is no society, none whatsoever. When Frondell Stewart cannot give us a word of comfort to 35,000 CLICO policy owners to this very day because he must protect a pal, what society is he building? I am saying to you tonight that unless we are able to manage our economies efficiently, unless we are able to put our people first and provide a just society where people are not taken advantage of, the voiceless, the faceless, as long as we are able to take care of these people, we can have our society. And in the absence of achieving those goals, we have not a society, we have not an economy. And it is for reasons like this that we must condemn the Democratic Labour Party today in strongest terms. It is a dereliction of duty that must be condemned. I also want to debunk the myth that this international recession has been unkind to Barbados. Can you tell me why it is that every time the Democratic Labour Party comes to power, that Barbados goes to financial ruin? Every time they come, I feel like I am living in 1991 all over again. Job losses, hopelessness, poor management of the entire country. That is the legacy of the Democratic Labour Party. Has nothing to do with an international recession. And to deal with facts, I say to you, in 2008 and 2009, and again in 2010 and 2011, the Democratic Labour Party collected more revenue, $2.4 billion. They collected more revenue than the previous administration. Don't let them tell you that they were not able to collect any money. Of course they were, because they taxed you to the max. They had the money. But where the Democratic Labour Party fails is in managing its spending. And that has nothing to do with an international recession. They are ill-disciplined when it comes to spending. Those wild boys spend like there was no tomorrow. No tomorrow. And it is a disgrace. They are the only ones that can manage the public finances of this country, and opposition cannot do it. It is the government that must be responsible with our finances. And today I condemn the Democratic Labour Party, because as much as they spent and equally as much as they borrowed, neither you nor me can see what we have to show for their spending. Not one thing. Not one thing. And you know, I really want to contrast them with people like Grantley Adams. Can you imagine that 60 years ago, our visionary leader Grantley Adams, even in the days of donkey carts and cart rows, where people were still cutting canes with a bill, Grantley Adams could envision excuse me, a hospital, a QEH, that would serve us 60 and 70 years onward. A seaport that was condemned. I remember that big lie when people were told that if we build a port, that the water was going to come and wash away all of the houses. But Grantley Adams had a vision that now allows us to build out our tourism industry. That was vision, that was the good use of resources. Even as he in those days could build the government buildings across the sea, and 70 years onward, they are still in use. I am just using him as an example because time and time again, you can see what the Barbados Labour Party has done with your money. But with the Democratic Labour Party, we cannot see. There is no investment that will serve us 50 and 60 years onward. And I am saying to you that as Barbadians, we must demand better representation from our political officers. We must demand accountability and transparency, not just in words, but we must be able to see it. And I am saying to you that the time has come for us to reject politicians who only make grandiose promises in manifestos, but who then abandon those promises once they come to government. I am saying that we must reject politicians who spend our money badly. And our rejection of politicians must not be hindered by our fear that we are going to register some one-term government. That is not our concern. We must not be hindered by these emotional feelings that give them another chance. If they do not deserve another chance, kick them out. Kick them out. Follow the words of Frederick Smith. If the Democratic Labour Party has not lived up to your expectation of who or what they ought to be, kick them out. I am saying to you that I stand here with my team of Barbados Labour Party colleagues, ably led by Owen Seymour Arthur, whose pedigree as a manager of this country cannot be denied and cannot be questioned. And I say that we will offer you an exciting package of plans and programs that will revive this country. We have done it before, and we believe that we can do it again. As I walk through my constituency today with my supporters, I was heartened by the warmth and the enthusiasm. Excuse me. I was heartened by the warmth and the enthusiasm of even young children coming out in the streets. There is that need to wear red. There is that need to bring back the Barbados Labour Party. And I am happy to say that we are ready and we are able, we are willing to restore this nation to its once proud glory days. I ask you on February the 21st, people of Hearts Gap, St. Matthias, September Square and Darrell's Road, give Maria Agard your vote. Wherever you can be found, give the supporters, give the members of the Barbados Labour Party your support and your vote. Come election day, vote BLP for a better tomorrow. Good night. God bless.
Crime son, dirty Andrew. Rob soldier again. Right now things dread, we voting for the right. Right now.